Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of the Aftermath series. Let us waste no time at all and dive right into this week's episode of Critical Role. So we begin this episode in the aftermath of this massive Gorgon appearing and assaulting the party. This Gorgon turned out to be a legendary creature, so the stakes were just that much higher. And after a long and deadly fight with Ford almost going down, Bo being petrified, the party was eventually able to vanquish this beast. Nott was able to use her Willow Shade potion to restore Bo, and then Clay quickly restored Calliope and Cornelius, his sister and father, while Jester went and restored Constance, Caduceus' mother. However, Corrin, Caduceus' aunt, was shattered in the battle with this Gorgon. But Jester did gather all of the pieces of Corrin's body and attempted to assemble them to the best of her ability. Caleb then stored these pieces in his amber vault. Jester also restored Aramis Stone, one of the caretakers of this oasis. Aramis led the Clay family and the party down into the cave in search of Gaima, another caretaker who may have answers for what this Gorgon was and what it was doing here. Upon traveling through the cave, they eventually came to a village with a beautiful temple for the Wild Mother. However, this village was in complete silence as all of its residents were turned to stone, including Caduceus' younger brother and sister, Colton and Clarabelle. And after a brief discussion of what to do next, the party had a little bit of downtime. Caduceus had a wholesome reunion with his family, and both of Caduceus' parents just seemed so incredibly proud of Caduceus for making it this far and retrieving the crystals from the Dust family. And later that evening, as Caduceus' sister Calliope was meditating by the water, Caduceus decided to pull a little bit of a prank on her and snuck up on her while she was meditating and loudly in her ear blew his death whistle, which then led to an adorable sibling moment. And honestly, just seeing how Clay's family interacts with each other is honestly such a breath of fresh air. It's so pure and wholesome, and we can really see how much they all love each other. During this scene with Caduceus and Calliope, though, Calliope's crystal that she had also retrieved from the Dust family fell into the water that was within this cave, and the two of them observed that the crystal began to change. It looked as though it was growing and expanding and changing into a partially germinated seed. So Caduceus took the rest of his crystals and placed them in the water, and they watched as all of them began to grow. Once the crystals finished developing, they retrieved them from the water and concluded that it was time for them to take these crystals back home and plant them to hopefully stop the corruption spreading in the Savalier Wood. Now, while all of this is happening, the rest of the party, minus Ford and Caleb, so really just the Chaos crew, decided to cause a little bit of mischief in the village. Just some harmless pranks such as rearranging furniture and placing water buckets above doorways. And at the end of it all, Jester created a small statue of the Traveler and offered it to Nott, saying that Nott would make a perfect follower of the Traveler. And Nott says that she'll wait until she's been turned back into a halfling before she makes any commitments to a religion. And during this exchange, Bo walks up, seemingly a bit drunk, and knocks the statue out of Nott's hand. Jester also tells Bo that she would make a great follower of the Traveler as well. And Bo's only response to this is saying, "You're really attractive right now." Jester lovingly accepts this compliment, but nothing else comes from this exchange. We'll see if Jester brings this back up in the future. In the morning, Jester and Caduceus restore Gaima and Mekatoth, both of them sort of high-ranking caretakers of this oasis. And then Caduceus restores Colton and Clarabelle. And then yet another wholesome family reunion takes place. I honestly seriously just love their family dynamic so much. During this time, Jester decides to attempt to bring Corrin back to life by reassembling all of the pieces and using stone shape to fill in the cracks and to smooth out her body. Once she felt satisfied with her stone-shaped work, she cast Greater Restoration and was successfully able to bring Corrin back to life. A seriously incredible feat. And now that the Clay family has been fully restored, and they have the seeds needed for their home, they decided it was time to return to the Savalier Wood. And so Caleb teleported everyone to Uthadurn, the closest place to the Savalier Wood. Caduceus then sadly had to say farewell to his family, as he decided that he wasn't quite finished yet with the Mighty Nine. There were still things that needed to be done, a debt that is yet to be fully paid, and Caduceus' family fully understands and fully supports Caduceus' decision in staying with the party. And while Caduceus was saying his goodbyes, Jester decided to summon a messenger creature of some kind, using the spell Planar Ally. She tasked this creature with delivering a dozen cupcakes to the hag Asharnai. Hopefully this gift of cupcakes will cause Asharnai to forgive Jester for casting Modify Memory on her if she is ever able to figure it out. Or this could just send Asharnai into an absolute rage. Ultimately, we'll just have to wait and see. And so, after Caduceus finished his farewells with his family, the party decided to teleport to Nicodranas, where they will attempt to kill time until the negotiations that are about 3 weeks away. And that is where the episode ends, and we'll pick up the next episode in the live show in Chicago, which I am so excited for because I will actually be attending this live show. But with all of that being said, we are going to wrap up. Let me know all of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions during the episode. As always, I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you all next week.